Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to cover the absolute mess that is AEW Grand Slam Australia.
We've got an update on what's going on with Roman Reigns.
Got the latest on plans for Alexa Bliss.
And could Jade Cargill return very soon? I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm very confused.
And this is the news.
I'm very confused on the news today. Adam Wilborn, when a wrestling promotion, let me ask you a question. When a wrestling promotion goes to a massive country for the first time, that country being Australia, and they book a show. It's titled Grand Slam, and it's in a 52,000-seater stadium. Would you assume that that show is just a regular TV show with a different name, or maybe something bigger, maybe something like a pay-per-view event?
It's huge, absolutely. I'd guess, assume they're going for a pay-per-view there.
All right. So when, during a media call ahead of Full Gear, another pay-per-view, the owner, the founder, the boss, the CEO, Tony Khan, says the following of that show. Tell me what conclusions you would draw from this.
Okay.
And I think it's a great opportunity for AEW. Grand Slam is in Q1, and it's going to be one of the major AEW events for sure. And it was part of the big live event announcement. Of course, we announced some TV shows, and it'll be a little bit of a different cadence for us going to Australia versus a normal TV week. What kind of conclusions would you draw from that?
Well, it sounds by that he's putting the TV shows over here and the big events, the big showcase things over here, like Grand Slam. That I'm doubling down. It's a pay-per-view.
So it's a bit of differentiation there from a TV show, isn't it? All right. So then on the same call, when he says, I think it will present some challenges in terms of the timing of the event and the time zones, especially when presenting it as a conventional pay-per-view here domestically. That's something to keep an eye on. You still going with your pay-per-view assumption?
I'm going to triple down, in fact, because he literally said the words pay-per-view in that sentence.
All right. That's very, very fair. That's very fair indeed. So what would you say then when in a new interview with TV Insider, Mr. Khan says the following? Having this be a TV event has always been the plan. That's something that the network wanted. It's something that the network brought to us recently with an opportunity to follow up on NBA All-Star Saturday. We saw it as a huge announcement.
I fell off my chair there, Andy. It sounds like he's headed towards a TV event, having said pay-per-view 3 times previously.
Yeah. I misquoted a bit there. We saw it as a huge opportunity, and it was a great vote of confidence from our partners at Warner Bros. Discovery. It will be one of the biggest nights of the year on TNT. It's a great opportunity given the lead-in. So, okay, right. Let's talk. We gotta break all of this slop down.
It's been a mess this for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a shambles, right? So, like, in none of those quotes has he explicitly said AEW Grand Slam is a pay-per-view, right? I think it's safe to infer that it was going to be bigger than what it currently is.
Yes, they were hoping for bigger things. They went for that huge stadium. Then they've changed venues. Nevertheless, you thought, well, it's on a Saturday at some point in the day, especially with the time difference and what have you. But, companies, WWE put shows on at random times because they're off in Saudi or Australia or France or wherever. Why not have it be a big pay-per-view, big showcase thing in Australia with Tony Storm fighting on it and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay teaming up and all that sort of thing. Harley Cameron planning on doing big stuff on that show as well. I think the plans of this has always been for it to be a pay-per-view, but they've had to pivot as a result of a variety of different factors, I suppose.
So they've moved it obviously to the smaller venue due to ticket sales. And another thing that would lead to people, going, I was expecting a bigger event than the one we're getting, is the fact that the ticket prices for this were absolutely astronomical at the start. You were starting at around $400 for a floor seat, about $70 to sit in the gods.
$400 dingo dollars, man.
Yeah, right, exactly. And now what you have is the situation as well, where because they've had to downsize venue, people have moved into different seats. There have been people online who have said, I was in a much better seat before, now I'm in this place, and I've paid $500 or whatever for this regular ass arena show. In fact, there was a big Reddit thread yesterday, and often Reddit is not the best place to find good wrestling opinions. However, I think it was full of just people who've bought tickets for this show and are a bit annoyed. Some people were calling it a scam. Some people said that they weren't offered refunds and stuff, which after a venue change and your situation could possibly be downgraded, you probably should. Maybe that's more of a venue thing than an AEW thing. So I don't know, man. Look, straight up, this feels like a bit of a bait and switch to me. The presentation of this event, you didn't explicitly say, hey, this is a pay-per-view, but you did enough to lead...
We all thought that.
Exactly. You did enough to lead people to reasonably believe that it was going to be bigger than a 2-hour TV show.
Yeah.
You know what? In the US, right, the only thing that is advertising the time slot for this is TNT's time guide thing, where it says AEW Collision 9:30 at night on the Saturday. So shout out to the Flagship Wrestling Podcast, by the way, for compiling some of these quotes.
Great work.
It's just an absolute shambles of an event. Like, from a marketing standpoint, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
And look, I am sure it will be a good show.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure it will be a good show. Feels a bit bait and switchy to me.
Yeah, there's just a dodginess around this, isn't there? Like you say, I think the thing is, AEW took a big swing going to Australia, announcing this big stadium show, and the moment it happened, people in the know in Australia was like, I'm not sure that's a good idea. You've not got such a huge audience like you have in England, for example, when they announced All In at Wembley for the first time. Plus, I don't know really about the geography of Australia, but people were saying, you're not going to get such a huge audience from just the surrounding areas, whereas it's very easy. It's very easy for us. Not easy, expensive, trains are crap here. But to pop down to London, for example, it's not quite as simple. Australia's bloody massive.
Yes.
And I think AEW immediately regretted the decision. They subsequently sort of waited and seed if the tickets would sell out. They didn't. They pivoted. They changed venue. And then from that moment on, you got the sense that they've regretted this decision. Not necessarily to go to Australia completely, but just, what are we doing here? Yeah. The focus seems to have shifted, like they were plugging All In Texas and obviously Revolution. And there was a moment where you were like, you do know you're going to Australia in mid-February, don't you?
Yeah.
And now to the point where, a couple of weeks ago, we didn't have anything on this card. Now they've obviously got, you could speculate that obviously you can have some big matches for Tony Storm exactly, and Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, as soon as they were sort of linked, were suggested for this card. More matches have been added with Death Rider's tag potentially going down. Was it Brisbane Brawl? Or something like that, as mentioned on last night's show. Harley Cameron as well, intimating that she wants to face the CEO, not Tony Khan, the other one. But yeah, I don't know. This all just doesn't make me feel right. It doesn't sit right with me.
Bad marketing.
Yeah.
Bad marketing.
And the timings thing as well. I get it. It's Australia. That means it's a very weird time to be putting a show on for your Western audiences. But the fact that the best we've got now is I'll be on after the All-Star game.
Yeah. It's a Collision with some bigger matches in a different name. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's a Saturday night TV show. And I think that, look, if you approached the show originally thinking you were getting a pay-per-view, I think you are very, very fair to now feel annoyed that it's not that. Especially if you spent all that money on a ticket. It's a swing and a miss.
You're travelling as well. Travelling, across Australia, even from, I don't know, Nuzund or wherever. Like, if you're flying in for this and you're like, it's going to be, like you say, a great show. Look at the people that are already on it. Nevertheless, you would have been like, I was kind of hoping for, title changes and big things happening.
Just get it together. Just get it together and be a little bit more transparency would have been good here.
I'm an idiot when it comes to timings in America, but how is that going to work on the night or whatever time of day it is in Australia? Because they've said it's coming on the air after the All-Star game, right?
Yeah.
So if that goes long, are the people in the stadium just sort of... eventually they just keep hoying people out for dark matches?
You'd imagine there'd be some kind of delay. And the other aspect of this is that originally they'd advertised this, I think, for 8 p.m., which is when the dunk contest is on or something like that. So it's like... Well, no, that's on the same channel. What's going on here? They did remove that from the marketing. So
we all assumed, didn't we, when they first announced this, it was going to be. We didn't know about Vengeance Day and stuff. But if you'd have asked us at the time, I think we'd have said, "Oh, cool! So we get basically a day of wrestling. We get Grand Slam sort of in the morning here for us, and then in the night, Vengeance Day." But now it seems so up in the air.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, it will be a good show, I'm sure. Yeah. But we can't just sit here and not call out organizational shenanigans. This is a mess. This is a shambles, and I hope that they learn from it, and that their next show that is a stadium and then becomes a smaller show. I hope that doesn't happen, because I want wrestling companies to do well. But if it does happen again, just don't change the messaging. It's very. Almost like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Yes. When you announce venues, you should commit to them. Speaking of which, look at all these venues we're going to! We're going on tour. We're going on a world tour. That counts because we're going to four different countries.
Yeah.
3 in the UK and then over to America.
Also, it's not a pay-per-view. So.
Yes. But do join us. Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow, London, and then Las Vegas. And that TBC has been changed. We are now at the HyperX Arena.
An arena?
In Las Vegas. We are going to try and sell that place out. But we ain't moving venues, whatever happens. If you want to join us for that, if you want to pre-register your interest for tickets, whatculture.com/tickets for that. I'm so excited.
It's in the Luxor, isn't it? The Hyper, or near it, or something?
I never know. We're doing Silver the Luxor as well. I'm not sure if we were allowed to mention that or not, but I've said it now.
Right, well, there it goes.
But it's going to be an amazing week in Las Vegas for WrestleMania. Do join us for all our events there. And join us beforehand. Piggybacking off the WWE tour, let's be perfectly honest. But yeah, Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow, and London. Whatculture.com/tickets for all the details on that.
It's simply gorgeous.
Oh, I can't wait. Right, let's talk a little bit about Roman Reigns. He was eliminated from the Royal Rumble by CM Punk. He was jaw-jacking with him on the floor, and then he got his head caved in by Seth Rollins.
Rude.
And there was sort of an update on him on Monday Night Raw. They basically said, we're only allowed to tell you what he'll tell us. And he was out indefinitely. The speculation being he was concussed by Seth Rollins and that brutal stomp on the outside. But Mike Johnson of the brilliant PW Insider providing a bit of an update on this. Mike's belief is the announcement was way more of a way to explain his absence in the storyline short term than anything else. So no need to worry. It did kind of come across as that, to be perfectly honest, of look, he only does limited dates now anyway. He's obviously going to be involved in one way or another at WrestleMania, whether it be Punk or Punk and Seth, or now, off the back of yesterday's news, The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, don't think I'm doing the show, am I? Well, now I am. Now you've said I'm not. But yes, it's one of those things where he's going to disappear and he may well just do the Shawn Michaels thing in the Elimination Chamber of sliding in and costing Seth Rollins, or who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. So, to go on with the storyline stuff here, good to have clarification because the spots did look mental.
It was a great...
it was good.
Doesn't 2-foot people make it very often, Seth, does he?
Yeah, no. So, like, it is nice to have clarification. Although, like, some people might prefer to just have the fiction of it, but Mike Johnson's just doing his job.
It's reassuring, isn't it?
Yeah, Mike Johnson's just doing his job
work,
here.
Mike.
So that'll build to the return. I'm still 50-50 on how I feel about the triple threat, if that's the route they go. I feel like individually Seth versus Roman or Roman versus Punk is bigger than the triple threat. But then you have a question of, okay, say you did Seth versus Roman, what are you doing with Punk? Then because Cody's presumably tied up with the Cena man.
I really hope they don't do that. I'll be happy if it happens. I'll be well into it on the build to it if they do that. But But
what?
I want Cody Cena. You've got it. Do it. It's a main event. It's for a world title. The intrigue of like, in theory, both these people could just be like, I'm going to kick him in the bollocks and win the title because they've both got that great edge to them. And you can have Cena face anyone. Personally, I'd have Cena versus Logan Paul. Like,
oh God,
because the fear of people being like, he can't lose his last WrestleMania match against Logan Paul, and you could do the world title stuff at SummerSlam. You got 2 nights for that as well.
I actually agree. I totally agree. I would. I mean, Logan Paul. Like, listen, sometimes John Cena does the burial promos when he doesn't respect someone. He buries them on the mic, like Austin Theory. He's done it with Roman years ago. Obviously, he respects him a bit more now because Roman's the man now. But he just kills people on the mic sometimes. This might be the one time I'd enjoy that.
Yeah,
more.
Just go for it, John.
Like, hey, Logan, tell me about your time in Japan, brother. he just go for the throat. John Cena does not care.
And Logan Paul's an arsehole, so he's got a delicious drink that you should feed to your children. But other than that,
get the disclaimer on the bottom.
Do not feed prime to your children.
So Cena, I think Cena should lose the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
And then have more of a struggle to get to the title shot.
The years-long story should be, I want to get a world title match. Can I still even just get to the spot? Like,
can I still go?
Have him in the Rumble. Have him in the Chamber. I've said have him in Money in the Bank. It's risky, obviously. If he gets injured, you're in real trouble there.
all of them.
And then finally, that shot at SummerSlam where he wins the world title. And then, in my booking, he drops the title. Eventually, not straight away, but eventually to Kevin Owens. And then Mr. Money in the Bank, Sami Zayn cashes in. And the whole world would rejoice.
And that way, your WrestleMania picture is Cody versus Punk. It's Roman versus Seth, which you do need to do.
It's clean as well.
You do need to do. It's nice and clean. Cena versus Logan Paul. Gunther versus Jey Uso. You've got Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, maybe.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton.
Braun versus Speed.
Braun. 10-second match, done. I'd like Braun versus Sheamus. Me.
Yes.
Also, I would like Sheamus versus Jacob Fatu business at some point.
Fatu!
Oh my goodness gracious, you could do...
Fatu versus Speed, there you go. We got
Bronson Reed's back, he's given Speed 70 tsunamis. Listen, that was a great bump.
It was unbelievable.
Right, let's talk a little bit about Alexa Bliss. PW Insider Elite with the report. What are they doing with her when she comes back? She's going to SmackDown, baby. Potentially doing some Wyatt 6 stuff, pitches and stuff. So it was, the whole thing with the return, it was all over the shop. First it was WrestleVote, she's coming back.
Yep.
Then it was a couple of outlets saying they're at a bit of a contract stalemate, but I think Dave reported specifically that at the time of reporting, which I think was Thursday night, it wasn't happening because of a contract stalemate. But they might make a deal to make it happen, which then got misconstrued as Dave said it's not happening. Which is, people just don't like Dave, they just do that. But, I can see why people would be confused. Then she did return in the Rumble and got a crazy pop.
Yeah.
While Michael Cole buried the dirt sheets.
Get him, Cole.
Which was a bit uncalled for. But, I think people know what this is. Now she's back. Now she's going to SmackDown accordingly. Originally, it was suggested that there were pitches for her to work with the Wyatt Six on Raw. They've since been moved to SmackDown. So it makes sense. Look, Alexa loves this stuff. She's super invested in this stuff. She had Lily when she came back. She, of course, the jacket was really nice. It's a really nice touch.
They shouldn't have done the wide shot. We missed it.
Yeah, there you go.
But Fend. That's the famous phrase. Fiend forever, but friends.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
So it was nice. I actually think the Wyatt Six's presentation has been pretty good, to be honest.
They haven't been overexposed, have they?
No, they are. Aside from murdering people on night one, they haven't been casting spells on people and doing little parlor tricks. So listen, she loves this stuff. She's really invested in it. She was really, really close with Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, the late great. It passed away, tragic circumstances. So I'm kind of happy for her above all else.
Yeah, look, when we were speculating on this, and like you say, I think the moment people said there was a contract dispute and people were kind of dismissing it, if they can get CM Punk to sign a contract in effectively, 24 hours on that Survivor Series, anything can happen. All you need to do is reach terms and sign on the dotted line, and that, by the sounds of it, as they said, happened at the 11th hour. So both things can be correct. We can have correctly, well, we didn't, but we can have correctly reported that other people have reported that she isn't going to be at the Rumble, or it doesn't look like it. And then, 11th hour, it all comes together. Great news, she's in the Rumble. Shame for Shotzi Blackheart. Commiserations to her, of course. Saw that sad photo in the background, Jordan Grayson, I'll tell you. But we said when Alexa Bliss was coming back, I said, you and I think both agreed on this, that personally we'd rather see her do single stuff, but at the end of the day, she do what she wants to do. She clearly obviously has a lot of investment in the Bray Wyatt side of things, and off the back of the Rumble, if she does associate with the Wyatt Six, people have speculated for a while that the Wyatt Six could put an end to the Judgment Day at WrestleMania, and I think her and Liv Morgan as a part of that would be loads of fun.
There you go. Why not?
Finally, another big match potentially set for WrestleMania is Jade Cargill's return against, presumably, the person who attacked her. We don't know who that is. Naomi! But it's been a long time since we saw her on telly. Obviously, she was taken off. She was going to be a part of that US title tournament, but then she was put through a windscreen or whatever. And she's been out for, 3 months on television?
Yeah.
Or not on television, I should say.
About 80 days, something like that.
Obviously, she was a tag champ at the time, and Naomi, conveniently, has stepped in there to tag with Bianca Belair. Don't get me wrong, I love this storyline. Multiple names rumoured for her attacker. It should be Naomi, in my opinion, but Bianca as well would be awesome. It wouldn't make much sense, but I don't really care if I get Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. Anyway, PW Insider, excitingly, reports that not only has Jade Cargill been at the WWE Performance Center, but the company is under the belief she'll return to TV ahead of WrestleMania 41, and the takedown on SI added via a WWE source that Jade has been actively training in an effort to get cleared as soon soon as possible. The nature of her injury remains unclear. Yes, she's on the injury list, the internal injury list within WWE, isn't she?
The inaction list.
But yeah, fingers crossed she's back in time for April, because that would be huge. And you know, we were there for her in that awesome 3-on-3 match at WrestleMania 40, and she's just such a presence, isn't she?
Absolutely. If she's fit and healthy, she's got to be on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Lord knows why she's not cleared to compete or whatever. I don't know.
But she's all right.
I don't necessarily think it's anyone's business. What is people's business is the fact that she's not clear. So I'm looking forward to her coming back. I actually think her being away for a while has helped the story. It's let it breathe. It's good that it wasn't just like a 2-week thing. Often in wrestling, an angle like this will happen and the person's back in a fortnight, and it's like, hey, like
I got better.
Like I didn't like, for example, Braun Strowman being in the Rumble and showing no ill effects of that awesome beatdown that Jacob Fatu completely undermined the angle.
But we did like Kevin Owens on Raw on Monday night.
Limping and struggling.
I would still kill you, Sammy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Selling is good.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm looking forward to seeing her back, and I'm sure that the storyline will wrap in a satisfying way.
Looking good for WrestleMania, innit? I can't wait.
Wrestling Mania. Okay. I've run out of batteries. This has been a long video.
Yeah.
Enjoy this one.
It's a good one.
It's about wrestling.
It is. Go on, give it a click and find out.
Nothing to do with the Beatles. Thank goodness. No riffs. Bye.
Bye.